All right, folks, we're back with the Malzberg panel, part 2. Roger Hedgecock, host of the nationally syndicated Roger Hedgecock radio show, and Breitbart.com columnist, also American Thinker columnist. C. Edmund Wright, of course, his book is WTF, How Karl, Rove, and the Establishment Lost Again. All right, guys, we heard today from our top-of-the-hour news with John Bachman that Kerry has met with Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu fully expects the United States to use their veto at the UN over any attempt for the Palestinians to get authorization for speeded-up statehood recognition. It's always been American policy that comes through the negotiation table. And I see the Yahoo.com story here that Washington, a.k.a. Obama, is undecided as to whether or not the U.S. will use their resolution to veto, or their veto on the resolution. They're hoping, I think, that there's not enough support aside from the U.S. so that they won't have to use the veto. I am not surprised. Roger, nothing this man does with regard to Israel, a country he despises, would surprise me.
This administration is intent on coddling our enemies and punishing our friends, and it's clear in Israel that Israel's at the top of that list of punishing our friends. What Kerry is trying to do today in Rome and later tomorrow in meetings with the Palestinians in London is to try to get them to back off a little bit of a set timetable, try to get the Europeans to back off of trying to recognize Palestine at the United Nations, and trying to get everybody back to the table to start talking. American leadership here is so devoid of meaning anymore that obviously the Europeans are going their own way, Palestinians are going their own way. The whole United Nations has become a corrupt, out-of-control situation in which America has very little influence. And I think Obama has planned it this way in order to get to a point where he's going to pressure, and he's trying to take Netanyahu out of office in these March elections, don't mistake that.
Absolutely.
Try to pressure Israel to try to get into a position of capitulation and going back to the 67 borders, which, as Netanyahu pointed out, would bring the jihadists to the suburbs of Tel Aviv and in the neighborhoods of Jerusalem.
Well, I got to tell you, if Obama sends his cronies to get involved in this election, as I'm sure he will, anything could happen. What do you think, Edmund?
Yeah, well, yeah, the Chicago way. What I like, though, is that Netanyahu's coming out and just basically saying the U.S. has promised that this is not going to happen. I don't know if that's what John Kerry told him or not, but I believe that's very, very wise posturing on the part of Benjamin Netanyahu. And as Roger said, this president coddles our enemies and punishes our friends. Well, that's because those are his enemies are our friends, and vice versa. I mean, he's got the wrong set of enemies.
I got it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're absolutely right, and that extends, and I you know, I'm with the crowd that believes that everything that this man does has a purpose. Nothing's by accident. He knows what he's getting, and he's getting what he wants, and you know, it's not by accident. So let's leave it at that. Now let's move on. Elizabeth Warren has excited her base, her followers, by saying over and over during an interview with NPR that I am not running for president. She said it 4 times, and it's in the present tense. She not once said, I will not run for president. Edmund, do you think she's actually going to run? I mean, she almost led a filibuster against this spending bill.
Isn't it ironic we're talking about the wife of Bill Clinton maybe parsing words with regards to whether or not she's going to run? She's definitely the far-left loony bin fringe of the Democrat Party. She's probably the only Democrat that, say, Jeb Bush could beat.
Yeah, that could be. What about it, Roger?
Well, Elizabeth Warren is going to run because the lunatic left is going to demand that she run because they are very suspicious of Hillary Clinton and the Clintons in general as being much too centrist for them. So it's going to be interesting to see if Elizabeth Warren can pull off in 2016 what Barack Obama did in 2008, and that is to take away the inevitability of Hillary Clinton.
And what a place in history that would be for Hillary Clinton. I think a rightful place. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you both very much. Roger Hedgecock, C. Edmund Wright. I will speak to you both again very soon. And up next, it's Give Me 5. And I promise you're not going to want to miss it on the Steve Malzberg Show.